Ben Stokes has been added to the squad after recovering from a finger injury. Well, Stokes has been given the all-clear by his consultant and the ECB medical team to resume training following his second operation on a fractured left index finger. He had returned this summer before then deciding to take an extended break from the game in July in order to prioritise his mental well-being. It means he's missed the ongoing T20 World Cup, but Stokes will depart with a test specialist and the Lions on November the 4th.
Well, this is what Stokes has said. I had a break to prioritise my mental well-being and I got my fingers sorted. I'm looking forward to seeing my mates and being on the field with them. I'm ready for Australia. Well, the first test takes place at the Gabba in Brisbane from December the 8th. Then it is on to Adelaide for a day-night test before the traditional Boxing Day test at the MCG. The new year will start in Sydney with the series finishing in Perth from January the 14th.
Well, for more on this, we can now speak to former England captain Nasser Hussain. Nasser, great to see you this morning. Just first of all, your reaction to this news?
Well, it's great news, isn't it? I mean, it's obviously great news for England and the England cricket team. Ben Stokes is virtually irreplaceable in any format. You know, he's one of the great all-rounders in world cricket at the moment. But more importantly, it is great news for Ben Stokes, both physically with his finger. It looks like that finger that he damaged in the summer is better. We've seen him in the nets. We've done some shots of him holding a bat, hitting some balls and bowling a few deliveries. But more importantly, mentally, it just shows that Ben, having taken a break, an extended break out of the side, out of the game, is in a better place mentally. Obviously, that'll have to be looked after and watched in the weeks and months ahead, but it's absolutely great news that England have got their sort of talismanic cricketer back in the side.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Nasser, as you say, mentally, they'll have to, keep an eye on Stokes. He hasn't played cricket for quite some time. Will they need to ease him back in gently?
I think with the bowling they'll need to ease him back in gently because physically after a while, Ben has had injuries over the years, but I think with the batting, as long as that finger is fine, I think he'll be able to come straight back in. Australia as well, you get out there, I mean, he said, I'm ready, Australia. It's just a great place to go. The weather is warm, your body feels like you want to do professional sport. The net surfaces are absolutely perfect. They're not up and down surfaces that you could damage that finger again. And they've got a good lead in. Obviously, they've got quarantine as well. And these are the more important issues, I would say, for Stokes and the management of Stokes. It's not the day-to-day physically. Ben Stokes is a senior, he's been around a long time, he knows exactly what he's doing physically, but just mentally when he has to go back into quarantine, back into a bubble, that's when he'll need monitoring and looking after.
Yeah, I was going to say, you touched on it there, that he's in a better place mentally, but like you say, that secure bubble lifestyle, are the ECB generally just going to have to be more flexible with players during the Ashes series in terms of dealing with people's needs?
Yeah, and you'd say they've been or tried to be ahead of the curve with these things. They copped a lot of flack for the rotation policy they showed last winter when they went from Sri Lanka to India, and Sri Lanka, actually Ben Stokes was rested for that. So they have been ahead of the curve. They've not been waiting for players to show some kind of mental health issues and then been too late and react to that. What they've tried to do is rotate their players, try to keep them out of bubbles as much as possible. Listen, when you look over my shoulder and you think what you're going on about, we'd all love to be out there. The players are pretty much in their hotel rooms. They're just playing cricket, cricket, cricket. So that's why they were so keen when they signed up to that Ashes trip. That's why there was that delay and standoff. They just wanted to know what was life going to be like for them and their families when they arrive in Australia and that tour of Australia.
Yeah, and Nasser, as you mentioned, this is great news for England fans because Stokes is such a huge player for them. How much does his return change the dynamic of the series?
Well, it's great news for Stokes, England fans, and I'd say Jack Leach, actually, because you get an all-rounder in. England was struggling without Stokes because he is two cricketers in one, and they were almost having to pick 12 because they wanted all their batters, they wanted a wicket-keeper, and they wanted all their seamers and a spinner. And the one that may have been left out on some of the pitches in Australia would have been the spinner, Leach. He's the front-line spinner now with Moeen Ali retiring. And because Leach doesn't bat as well as Moeen Ali, they needed an all-rounder and they needed Stokes. So Stokes comes in, he could bat at 6, Buttler at 7, 3 seamers and Leach, and you still got Stokes to bowl. So Australia were expecting this. Nathan Lyons said a week ago he expected Ben Stokes to be fit for some part of Australia. It's just great news. He's going there early, and he's going there pretty much with full preparation for a full Ashes series, hopefully.
Yeah, Nathan Lyon was spot on, wasn't he? We all thought it was mind games at the time. Does Stokes have to start the first test if he does feel up to it, Nasser?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be like leaving out Ian Botham or something like that. You only have to remember what Stokes did at Headingley last time. We were lucky to be there. I was lucky to commentate at that time. That was one of the greatest days, one of the greatest innings I have ever seen by any cricketer in Test match cricket. He won that Test match off his own bat. It was truly remarkable, the scenes at Headingley, and he's that type of cricketer, not just on the field, off the field. He's the type of cricketer you need against Australia as well, someone to stand up against them, someone to look them in the face and take them on. He's that type of cricketer. You know, you think of Botham, you think of Peterson. They like to, go after people that sort of back away and back down. Stokes definitely won't do that. So if he's fit and available, Stokes plays, and that just all the other bits of the jigsaw that I speak about fall into place after that.